Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Smruti Karunalayam Namame Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Acharyo Bruyat Ehaiva Tava Somya Mrutasya Shariram Vayobhiradyate Mrudbhavam va Apadyate. So when the body dies, so as one identifies with the body, so it amounts to saying one dies. Otherwise one doesn't die. See, so you believe that you are the body, therefore when the body dies, it amounts to saying, I am dying. On that basis the Acharya is replying, because he has identified with the body, and he was asked, Kastvam, who are you? He gave a reply in which the identification with the body is there, because Adonvayaha, he said, so I belong to such and such lineage and all that. That is the identification with the body. So on that basis the Acharya, in order to make him think, he is replying. So you are going to die then. If you are the body, you are going to die. So tava mrutasya, as and when you die, so the body will be eaten by birds. Vayas is bird. So vayobhihi adyate. Ada bhakshane. Okay, so it will be eaten by the birds. Mrudbhavam va apadyate. So if you take care of burying the body inside the earth so that the birds etc. won't disturb it, then the earth will take it over and it becomes one with the soil. Tatra katham samsara sagarat uttartumicchasi. Tatra mane tasmin. It is called Sati Saptami. Tasmin Sati. When there is a Saptami, so in the sense of Sati Saptami, so Tasmin Sati. You have to add that Sati. Into English it translates as that being so. That is how it translates. That being so, how can you desire to cross the ocean of samsara? So because you will be dead, you will not be there. You identify with the body, and the body is dead, which means you are dead. And so, where is the question of this desire to cross samsara and all that? So he is explaining that. Nahi nadyaha avare kule bhasmi bhutaha Nadyah param tarishyatiti. There is a river. Leave alone ocean. Just take a river. If you cross the river, then you can think of crossing the ocean. So on there is the river, and there is this side and the other side. Avare kule, on this bank. The person died on this bank. And then suppose he is cremated here on this bank. So suppose he is cremated. Then he turns into a bunch of ashes. So this bunch of ashes is not going to cross this river. Right? It need not cross, it cannot cross also. Similarly, you seem to be identified with the body, and the body is going to die. And therefore when body dies, you are dead. And therefore you are not there even to think of crossing this ocean of samsara and all that. Okay? So this is a charvaka. Charvakaha means charuvakaha. The one who speaks so nicely. Very happy to hear when he speaks. Because the charvaka, he speaks of worldly pleasures. Like what? So he says, Yavat jivet sukham jivet. Runam kartva ghratam pibet. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. This is not a quote of Charvaka. This is exactly what Charvaka said. This is not something which is attributed to Charvaka. It is exactly what he said. Therefore, we have some songs written by the poets. Arey bhai, once the body is gone. They don't even say body is gone. Once the age is gone. The person may be alive, but he cannot get any pleasure out of the body anymore once the age is over. Therefore, while the body is alive and while the body is young enough to give you some pleasure, take some pleasure out of the body. No, to get pleasures, to get into pleasures, we need a lot of money. Not a problem. So take loans, they are available, Runam krutva ghratam pibet. So eat well, but then if you have to take a loan for eating well, better you take loan. What about paying it back? You need not pay it back. In Indian society, we have two kinds of loans. One is called loan. In English, they call it loan. That you need not pay back. It comes from banks. Banks give loan. You need not pay it back. Government will adjust the books. Before elections, they will say something of that kind and books will be adjusted. You need not pay back. And then there is another thing called ranam. They say it rana in Sanskrit or appu in Telugu. Some such local vernacular word they use. That you have to pay back. Because that is taken from a private individual, so you have to pay back with interest. Therefore, these farmers, they take loan from the bank which they don't pay back. And the only thing is they pay some bribe to get the loan. This is the culture. And poor Narendra Modi is struggling to change that culture. That is the thing. So you need not pay the loan. Therefore, what is the problem in paying some bribe? What is your problem? You are not going to pay the principal amount anyway, and you are not going to pay back the loan, no interest, no principal, nothing. It is all your money only. Just pay some bribe upfront. Sounds logical, and so they do that. And they don't pay that. But taken from private individuals, they pay. Chalo. Runam kartva ghratam pibet. This is what the Charvaka says. Therefore, a Charvaka is not going to ask the question, how can I cross this ocean of samsara and all that. Okay? So that is the a kind of a challenging question from the teacher. Sayadi bruyat. Then let us assume, yadi, that the student replies. How? Anyoham sharirat. Yeah, I am not the body. I am something distinct from the body. How? Shariram tujayate, mriyate, vayobhiradyate, mrudbhavamapadyate, shastragnyadibhischa vinashyate, vyadhibhischa yujyate. Two, there is a distinction between myself and the body. That distinction is highlighted by the word tu. Shariram, look at the body. First look at the body. Jayate, it is born. Body is born. So, you are not the body. It is the body which is born. You see, the illusion of being the body-mind, that I am the body-mind, this illusion is there. It is there, it is rampant. It is there all through the society. It is there among the worldly people. Very much worldly people. They are not interested in the religion and all that. They don't care for God, etc. They are pakka worldly people. They are interested only in artha kama. Make money and enjoy pleasures. That's it. Again, these worldly people are two kinds, sangraha paraha, bhoga paraha. So some of them make money and pile up the money, accumulate the money. Don't use it for themselves, don't use it for the benefit of others also. They are compared with a dog which is kept, which is put to guard the hay. You know hay? A lot of hay is there, and the farmer wants to keep the hay safe. He doesn't want to lose the hay because it is useful for the cattle, Therefore, all that hay. So somebody may steal the hay. Therefore, he puts a dog to protect the hay. The most advantageous thing it is, because the dog doesn't eat the hay. It only protects the hay. So this is how the sangraha paraha, these people who accumulate the wealth and they safeguard it and they protect it. They won't allow it to be expended. They protect it. And when they die, others enjoy it. This is one kind of worldly people. Another kind of worldly people, you make the money only to enjoy the pleasures. And so in such a case, the money, however much they make, will not be adequate for the pleasures, because pleasures come very costly. And therefore, they beg, borrow, buy or steal or whatever they have to do, they do, and get more and more money by means fair or foul, and enjoy the pleasures. Some people maintain a balance between these two. This is how the worldly people operate. And they have this illusion of being the body-mind. These are the worldly people. Then come to the religious people. They are not different at all. As I already told, they have not realized that they are not the body-mind and all that. Sometimes for the worldly person, the body means only this much, that it is a source of pleasure and he identifies with it, it is himself or herself, and gives some pleasure. That is all he looks at the body. Whereas for a religious person, body is all the more important. Because his religion, the way these people practice, it is centered around body identification. You first identify with the body. When you identify with the body, there are a few things called deha dharma, the qualities of the body. They become your qualities. So body is white, therefore I am a white person. Body is black, therefore I am a black guy. Body is called Brahmana by all others, therefore I am called Brahmana. In India, that is India. This white, black elsewhere. In India, less. In India, it is all caste. So body is Reddy, I am Reddy. And the body is given a name along with the caste, a caste title also. So if body is Brahmana, then we give a particular name where the Brahmana is reflected. Reddy, etc. All these caste titles are given because I am the body. And then the practice of religion is based on identification with the body, because you are the karta. Therefore, then only a karta can do karmas. So I have to be a karta. Therefore, in fact, they ask, hey, karta kaun hai? Who is the karta here? Then the person comes, I am the karta. Okay, come. Like that. Therefore, in the context of religious practices and rituals, so the body is the person. Therefore, whether it is worldly people or religious people, the illusion of being the body-mind, it is there. And very interestingly, it is there only as long as it is not investigated. If you investigate, it will not be there. Yeah, some investigation you have to do. And having done the investigation, but the orientation is there. Orientation of identifying with the body will be there. In spite of doing investigation, it will not be so easily shaken. Therefore, you have to contemplate, and if you have to practice in the sense, the contemplation has to be pursued constantly so that the identification with the body will dissolve. It's an achievement, and people have no option. They have to address this issue. Therefore, the student is saying correctly, dear sir, body is born and body dies. Jayate, mriyate, vayobhihi adyate. As you said correctly, the body will be eaten by birds. Or if it is buried, mrudbhavam apadyate. It becomes one with the soil. Or it can be destroyed by weapons, shastra. Suppose the person participates in a battle, then the weapons released by the opponents may even destroy this body. Or the person dies and people carry the body to the cremation ground and with fire they may destroy it. Or the body may be destroyed by drowning in a river or whatever. It can be destroyed in multiple ways. And also the body can be invaded by many diseases. Vyadhibhischa yujyate. So all of that belongs to the body. None of it belongs to myself. So this is one thing people have to pay attention to. You see, what happens to the body and the mind also. Body and mind. But mainly body we are talking about here. What happens to the body may not be within our power to change. How can we change? We may not be able to change. If you get some fever, etc., you get medicine, and hopefully medicine works. So it looks as if we are able to change it. But in a general sense, what happens to the body is not in our power to change. But you can always put an end to your imagining that yourself to be the body. That you can end. It is possible to end that. It is possible, doable, and if you are to be correctly advised, you should do it. There is wisdom or intelligence in doing that. Otherwise, you are in for some serious trouble. As the age comes, you are in for some serious trouble. So, in some extreme cases, like some of these Hollywood stars, so a star who was world famous, she looked in the mirror. They stopped giving her roles in the movies, and then they started giving her some secondary roles and tertiary roles, not primary roles, not a leading actress role. And then even those roles were coming hard. And then she was wondering, and then she seriously looked at herself in the mirror. Normally she does that anyway, but one day she did it a lot more. And how come? What is going on? Why these producers are turning a blind eye towards me? And so she looked at the mirror and she understood. And then she could not stand the agony. She committed suicide. Really. The body identification is the worst thing. And so I met a young lady in 20s. She was extremely unhappy for only one reason. The parents are well-to-do people, reasonably middle-class people. They take care of their daughter with love. She lacks nothing in this world. She was born in a respectable family also, very intelligent, studying well. Everything is good with her, except one thing in her mind, not in everybody's mind. She is a bit not very fair. How many people are fair? If you go beyond Vindhyas, if you go towards south, how can people be fair? Near equatorial line, people cannot be fair, So, because the weather determines the color of the skin, and therefore, so this poor girl was very unhappy that she is not fair. Then I had a long discussion with her, and I felt that somehow she could be dislodged from that obsession. That was an obsession. She was obsessed with the body color. How can you change it? You cannot change it. They say in Las Vegas, they do some elaborate surgeries to change the color of the skin, cosmetic surgery. They say it is there in Las Vegas. Nowhere else in the world, only Las Vegas. So they say like that. And but how can that be possible? It is not possible, and it is not yet visible also. Therefore, so I was wondering whether this poor girl, she could be dislodged from that obsession. So I felt that she could be dislodged. But then I was wondering, the body identification is the worst thing that is there in people's lives. Therefore, you can stop that. You can stop imagining that you are the physical body. You can stop that. You have to work on your consciousness. This is what is called the inner transformation, which comes hard. The outer transformation is easy. Like I was having what they call cropping, they call it. Crop. Will have a decent crop of hair. Hair grows, like a crop grows. So like the hair grows. So I have a decent crop of hair. And then one fine morning came to Rishikesh, like all these Swamis, and got it shaved. And all that is gone. Therefore, so this kind of a transformation you can bring about. We have a Telugu poem. You can make the outer head empty. You can make it empty. Shave. Can you make what lies inside empty? That is the poem. In Telugu there is a poem like that. Outside it is all empty, but inside very complex. Extremely complex it is, but outwardly looks very empty. Therefore, so this kind of outer transformation has no value at all. Has no value. The only valuable thing is the inner transformation. And what is the inner transformation? You see, I knew a Mahatma. And in fact, I have translated one of his most inspiring books into Telugu. So I knew him very well. I knew his heart. So he used to say, if all people are sitting like this, he used to address. He says, even as you sit here and now, he was very forthright speaker, and he used to speak in English only. Never anything except English. He was in the heartland of Andhra Pradesh, near Visakhapatnam, Swami Omkar. Never spoke any Telugu, only English. That was his fad, I suppose. But he speaks the best wisdom, Saraswati speaking, but in English. Therefore, Swamiji, Rande, please come occupy your seat. It is waiting for you. And therefore, so he used to say, even as you all sit here and now, as you sit here, if you identify with the body and take the body as yourself, and therefore you are a body identified person, then you may perform any number of rituals or mental worships, upasanas, pilgrimages and charities. It all comes to a zero, naught, because of the sin of identifying with the physical body. On the other hand, even as you sit here and now, if you can disidentify from the body, don't identify, stop identifying with the body, then you need not perform any more rituals, any more mental worships, any more pilgrimages and charities. You have made it to the highest divinity. That is how he used to say. Therefore, this body identification, so you have to examine it. And we give, at least I tried to put a lot of emphasis on it in all these years of Vedanta teaching. In Vedanta, many teaching people, the people who teach Vedanta, they gloss over the topic. They just do not address it completely, for whatever reason, because they may think that this is a silly thing. We have to pay attention to Atma, which is Brahma. Pramana is there, Shastra is there. All those things you would give up. And now Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is there. Mahavakya is there. And they are all waiting for you. Why don't you, instead of going there, why you get stuck with the body? Therefore, that could be the reason why they gloss it over. That could be the reason. Now, when you see, when your first step is itself faulty, where is the question of reaching the goal and all that? So you end up in accumulating a variety of ideas about Atma and Brahma. All valid ideas, nothing wrong with those ideas. But then the entire study of Vedanta becomes a process of ideation. There is a very important process that happens in the human mind called ideation. Means you form a nice idea about the thing. You form a nice idea. Like a person in America wanted to know what is a jackfruit. And then a person who knows how to describe the thing very well, he put a figure of the jackfruit and he described it. The Thailand jackfruit, the Thai jackfruit, which is somewhat more special than the Indian jackfruit. So he put a figure of that, and so it will have spikes on all over the surface, and this is like this, and inside this is how it is. And he described in words and has shown the figure and all that. Now the American, he knows everything about jackfruit, except that he never saw it with his eyes, he never touched it with his hand, and he never tasted it in his lifetime. But he knows everything about jackfruit. If a lecture has to be given on jackfruit, he is the best candidate. You got the point? This is called ideation. It happens with us. It happens with us. Like people, all people, please don't mind my saying it, all people have got wonderful idea of God. They know so many details of God that when God is in his room, what will he do? When he is alone in his room, they will be able to tell all that. And when his consort is by his side, what will he do? Suppose when like that. Let me not go into details about it. So they know everything. And what he eats, when he eats, and what he eats at when. And so all the details they know. And what kind of a bed he lies down, how much time he sleeps. Every single detail of God they know. Even God will be surprised. My God, these fellows. And they consider it as knowledge. It is all knowledge. Generation after generation they will be studying it with all their enthusiasm. They devote their life to this study. And suppose I say all this study amounts to what is called ideation. Do you have any problem with that? Do you understand what I say? Therefore, all our Vedanta, very unfortunate thing that I am saying it, all our Vedanta boils down to simply ideation and not one wee bit more than that. An idea or a word, because always idea is connected with a word, with one word or many words. An idea associated with a set of words is never the thing. Is never the thing. And first of all, you have to understand the limitations of this ideation. This process of ideation is going on in my head. What I call study of scriptural literature, study of scriptures, and the study of Vedanta all these years. This is merely the process of ideation. Very fulfilling in itself, because the intellect feels a sense of fulfillment as it acquires more and more ideas, and as it piles up these ideas in itself, the intellect feels more and more accomplished, and it feels it has achieved a lot. and it acquires a title, gives most eloquent speeches about these ideas. And the process of ideation is very deep in the society, and so much so the people cannot distinguish, they cannot even understand that what they are engaging in is merely ideation. And idea of God is nothing to do with God. It is an elaborate maya, and we have put in place all over the country and the world systems to promote this ideation, and there are professional teachers to promote ideation, and then the students flock to those teachers and get themselves into as apprentices into this process of ideation, and they acquire new ideas, more and more ideas about Atma, Brahma, God and that, and they become experts in ideation, and in their turn they become acharyas of ideation. This is an elaborate maya. The most important thing is all this superstructure of ideation has nothing to do with the truth. Absolutely divorced from reality. That's why called Mahamaya. Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmayasi Parabrahma Mahishi. Like that it is said in some other place. Therefore, this is the Maya. The very first step of self-realization, away from this elaborate process of ideation, you leave it to the intellectuals. The intellectuals they are very, very tough nuts to crack. They never accept any criticism or critiquing of their process of ideation, because for them ideation is the goal, and they are not looking for anything more than that. Really, I wish I am exaggerating. I am not. So it has nothing to do with the truth. Absolutely nothing to do with the truth. Amazing. So if you want to break that trap of ideation, and if you mean the truth, if that is what you mean to accomplish in life, if you want to know the truth, then I always say the first steps first that you have to do. Even a journey of 1,000 miles it is started by taking the first single step of 1 or 2 feet or 1 foot. And that first step of Vedanta is disidentification with the physical body. That is where you have to start. That is the first step of spirituality. So, without taking that step, for whatever reason, generally people are attached to the body. That is the reason. What else can be the reason? Sometimes their focus is elsewhere on the fanciful things, and therefore they ignore the most essential. That could also happen. They are more interested in the fanciful. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. They are more interested in the fanciful. And they don't want to talk about this silly body. We want about Brahma. So that kind of a fanciful thinking could be responsible for glossing over this basic thing. That also possible. Well, more often than not, they love the body, just as they simply love the body. They don't call it not myself. Therefore, this is the most important step. In spirituality, is the most important step. I took it as a kind of a crusade to tell people, address this issue. No, Swamiji, what about Atma? Are Atma ko goli maro? Don't worry about Atma. You are the Atma. What are you talking? First address this issue. About this body issue, address. Because Atma or no Atma, you are going to become old. or you are already old. And you don't address this issue, this old age will become a trap for you. The body becomes a trap. And once you are trapped in a sick body, no Vedanta will help you. No Vedanta will help, no mantras will help you, no religion is going to help you. Money won't help anyway. And the relatives and near and dear, they are a nuisance, they won't help you. Therefore, you address this issue, I say. You see, throughout the history of mankind, human beings have a certain way of looking at the body. So we find, when you examine the religions all over the world, so we find people have three kinds of attitudes towards the body. In one kind of an attitude, the body is the God. Body is the most important thing. And they worship the body. Like the worldly people, these fashion people, and the rich, and the sophisticated, the civilized, etc., these people, they worship the body. For them the body is everything. And the comforts of the body is the goal of life. And so catering to the needs and comforts of the body is the religion. That is the religion. So it is like that. So body is the temple. Body is the God, not temple. Body is the God. And providing for the comforts of the body is the religion. So this is one view, a very worldly view. And they are bound to perish in that view, because the body is certainly going to get destroyed as it is described here. Then there is an opposite view. This comes from very hard people who practice very harsh religion, very harsh in their approach towards the body. They take the extreme opposite view. They say this body is the most despicable thing. It is a prison. It is a tomb of the soul. The soul is tombed within the body. And they describe the body in the worst possible language. They say it's a sack of dung. It is food for worms. Vayobhiradyate. It is food for birds and vultures and worms. And then it is filthy. It is shameful. And it is for bad people it is a source of temptation. And for good people it is a source of humiliation. So that is how they look at the body, with all contempt that they could muster. The opposite viewpoint. So there are any number of people of that category. Bhartruhari, if you pay attention, in his Subhashitas, shows some signs of what I have just now described. He describes body in such a contemptuous language. So what I have just now described fits into that description. That is one extreme view. Then there is another group. These are they consider the body as a symbol of God. And then God is naked in the heavens, and therefore they keep the body naked. This Nanga Sadhu. For them, keeping the body in a particular way is the religion. Keep it naked and take ashes from the cremation ground and apply it to the body. And so that is what they consider the sacred thing. Shiva. They say Shiva. Shiva is not that, really speaking. Keeping naked and putting ashes. Is that Shiva? Chidananda Rupaha Shivaha. That is what I thought. Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham. That is the Shiva. But they have a very distorted version of Shiva. Sometimes they call it Rudra also. People misunderstand. Rudra and Shiva are not one and the same. You can make them same also if you wish. But anyway, Therefore, these people are. And they believe that the more the body suffers, better the grace of God. You punish the body, the God will bless you. This kind of self-flagellation, you know what I mean? So like beating the body. You find it in all religions. You find it in one version of Islam where they beat the body and the blood should come out. The more you beat the body, the better devotee you are. It is a very, very horrific sight. And then in some Christian sects also this is there. They punish the body. You have to punish the body. It is not prevalent in Christianity, but it is there in some small corner. Very unfortunately, in practicing Hinduism, this is there. In South India, they worship Muruga, etc. And they consider walking over burning coals, piercing tridents into the thing, etc. These people are most superstitious. So he takes a trident. Now, if you are a rich devotee, he will give you gold-made trident to pierce the tongue. What difference it makes? But if you are moderately rich, then a silver one you purchase. Otherwise, some steel one you purchase. Say a trident, very sharp. And then he will push it into the tongue. The Purohit will do it. You cannot do it yourself, you cannot hurt yourself. Therefore, he will ask you, like doctor gives injection. So he will ask you, close the eyes and say some slogan, just to excite. When you excite the body-mind, you get a sensation. And so, let the person be submerged in some silly sensation for a few minutes. And so these people will be standing in the line. He will have ashes in a bowl by his side and all the tridents. So gold or silver, so it depends upon the money. And take some trident and push the ash on the tongue and then pierce it and push some more ash. That is his treatment for the bleeding tongue. Go, Bhagavan, dance karo. So this is how they treat the body very cruelly. Shri Krishna described it in Gita, in 16th or 17th chapter. So, Mam karshayantas sharirastham. Mam, I am in the body, they hurt me. Like that. And some of them, they burn symbols of God. Like chakra, you burn it. Like, in America, the cowboy days, they have an iron rod with a symbol at the end, and it is put in the burning coals, and it is burning, it becomes red hot. And he takes it and puts it onto the bull. You know that? What is it? Is called what? Branding. That is done in cowboy days. Even now it is done. They brand the animals, just so that one herd is not mixed with another herd. If these animals strays into the other herd, by this branding, every herd will have its own brand. By this brand, they recognize it and return it for that. They do it for men, for human beings in India. In the name of religion, they do that. Even now, in fact, it is considered a very sacred practice. So much sacred that Mahatma won't come anywhere near me because I am not branded. These people, I tell you, my God, is the monstrosity of ignorance and superstition. People. Then what is the right attitude towards the body? We have seen all the extremes. The right attitude is, it is captured in one expression which I have developed a liking. It is, the body is brother donkey. That is the right attitude. I am repeating it a second time for the benefit of those who have not attended the first camp. So this is the brother donkey. That is the perfectly right description of this body. Because anybody in his right understanding, in his right mind, anybody in his right mind can never hate a donkey or love a donkey. How can you love a donkey? In your right mind, can you love a donkey, such a stupid animal? And then can you hate a donkey? Come on. Nobody in his right mind can hate a donkey. Therefore, I have given the extreme examples of hatred and love. Both are not possible for this brother donkey. And donkey is useful, like this brother, sturdy. Donkey is a very sturdy guy. I have seen very heavy set people. They just jump onto the donkey and give a kick to it and it will start taking them forward. Poor donkey. It is very sturdy, like this body also. And donkey is always lazy. You can find it will be standing at one place. So very lazy. The body is also like that. Obstinate. You kick it, you beat it, then you have to beat 2-3 times. Then only it will move away from there. Like the body. And so that is the beast, the donkey. And therefore the body is like that. The donkey deserves a stick and carrot. There is a stick and carrot approach. You should not have stick approach. All the way stick approach is wrong. All the way carrot approach is also not a wise approach. You should have stick and carrot approach. Microsoft was asked. Microsoft CEO or executive was asked, is there any piracy of your software? They say, we have almost no piracy. You know piracy? Piracy, okay. We don't have any piracy. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. So, because you never know how to pronounce it, it is a no-win situation. So, you cannot win in this English pronunciation. Anyway, so no piracy in US. Everybody purchases. The other day, when I was about to purchase a software for my desktop, the person asked me, do you want the legal or pirated one? He asks. Legal is 3,000, pirated is 1,000. I said, give me the legal. I took the legal one. He said, are you sure? Yeah. So there is piracy. And the Microsoft persons were asked, do you know where is piracy? They said, yes, in Asiatic countries it is there. In Russia also a lot of piracy is there. We face that problem there. Because they lose money. Then how do you approach? We follow carrot and stick policy. That is what they said. Means they write to the pirated computer. They send a message. Dear sir, you are using a pirated software. Please pay up. If you don't pay up, whatever additional patches and other updates we send, you will miss them. And this pirated software, you will lose many disadvantages. Therefore, within this date, you please pay up. If you don't pay up, you will attract this punishment. Like that, he provides carrot